It was a crisp autumn afternoon when I decided to take my loyal companion Max for a walk in a remote nature preserve I'd heard of but never visited. The sky was overcast, casting an eerie shadow over the dense forest. As we ventured deeper into the woods, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The trees loomed tall and menacing, their gnarled branches creating an eerie canopy above us. The silence was palpable, and even Max seemed unnerved, his ears perking up at the slightest rustle in the underbrush. But I chalked it up to my overactive imagination and trudged on, determined to explore this new trail. That's when I saw him, standing there like a shadow among the trees. A man, but not just any man. His clothes were tattered and his face was obscured by a wild beard. He looked homeless, like he'd been living in these woods for years. And he was staring right at me. My heart pounded in my chest as I hesitated, unsure of what to do. Max growled low, his hackles raised, and that's when the man let out a bone-chilling, guttural laugh. It sent shivers down my spine, and I quickly turned to leave, not wanting any part of this unsettling encounter. But as we retraced our steps, it became clear that the man was following us, staying just out of sight but never out of earshot. The laughter echoed through the trees, and I could feel his presence growing closer with every step we took. Panic set in as I realized we were lost in this vast, unfamiliar forest, and this man, this sinister stranger, was closing in on us. I clutched Max's leash tighter, my fingers trembling, and urged him to hurry. The path seemed to twist and turn in on itself, as if the forest itself was conspiring to keep us captive. The air grew colder, and the sky darkened further, and I knew we were running out of time. Finally, we stumbled upon a small, dilapidated cabin hidden deep in the woods. Desperation drove me to approach it, and I banged on the rotting door, begging for help. The laughter of the man grew louder, almost triumphant, as he closed in on us. To my relief, the door creaked open, revealing an elderly woman. She had wild, unkempt hair and eyes that glinted with a strange intensity. Without a word, she beckoned us inside and locked the door behind us. I explained our harrowing encounter, and she nodded solemnly. "They call him the Forest Guardian," she whispered, her voice quivering. "He's a vengeful spirit, haunting those who dare to enter his domain." As she spoke, the laughter outside turned into a mournful wail, and a cold wind rattled the cabin's windows. The woman warned us that the Forest Guardian wouldn't be so easily deterred, and that our only hope was to leave at dawn when he retreated. With trembling hearts, we spent the night in the cabin, listening to the Forest Guardian's eerie lamentations. At the break of dawn, he finally faded away, leaving us shaken but alive. As we left the forest, I couldn't help but reflect on our harrowing encounter. Sometimes, the most beautiful places can hold the darkest secrets, and the wilderness should be explored with caution. Max and I had narrowly escaped a nightmare, and the advice I'd give to anyone who ventures into the unknown is simple. Trust your instincts and never underestimate the mysteries that lurk in the heart of the woods. I'm a dog walker, and my routine has always been simple and peaceful, with my trusty companion, Max, by my side. But that night, as the sun set and cast long, eerie shadows, I decided to take a detour from our usual route. That's when I found myself standing before the infamous murder house. The murder house, as the locals called it, had a sinister reputation. It was a decaying mansion, hidden behind a dense thicket of trees, and had been abandoned for decades. The story went that a gruesome murder had taken place there many years ago, and the house had been haunted ever since. Max tugged at his leash, eager to explore. Against my better judgment, I decided to enter. The overgrown path leading to the house was lined with gnarled trees, their branches clawing at the sky like skeletal fingers. The rustling leaves whispered secrets, and the air was damp and thick, suffused with a palpable unease. As we approached the murder house, I felt my heart quicken. The mansion loomed, its dark windows staring like empty eye sockets. We ventured closer, and the wood of the porch creaked beneath our footsteps, a sound like a chorus of ghostly moans. Max growled low, sensing the ominous atmosphere. With trembling hands, I pushed open the heavy front door. It groaned in protest, and we stepped into the chilling darkness within. Moonlight filtered through broken windows, casting eerie patterns on the peeling wallpaper. The house was a labyrinth of dusty rooms, each filled with remnants of the past. Rotting furniture, broken mirrors, and faded photographs littered the floors. Every step echoed through the silence, a cacophony of dread. I couldn't shake the feeling that we were not alone. A faint noise echoed from above, like a soft, mournful sob. Max's hackles raised and he let out a low growl. I strained my ears to listen, and that's when I saw it, a shadowy figure, fleeting and indistinct at the top of the grand staircase. My heart pounded as we made our way up, each step sending shivers down my spine. The figure moved just out of sight, a whispering specter that seemed to beckon us further into the house's abyss. Max's barks filled the air, a desperate plea to leave. As we reached the top of the staircase, the figure emerged from the darkness. It was a woman, her face obscured by long, tangled hair. She wore a blood-stained white dress, and her eyes glinted with madness. She raised her arms, her fingers ending in razor-sharp claws, and let out a piercing, otherworldly scream. I screamed too, my heart pounding as I turned and fled with Max in tow. We crashed through the front door, the night air a welcome relief from the horrors within. We didn't stop running until we were far from the murder house, panting and trembling. My heart still races at the memory of that night. I don't know who or what that woman was, but I'm convinced the house is cursed. As I share this story, I implore you, never venture near the murder house, even in curiosity. Some places hold unspeakable terrors, and the echoes of the past can reach out to grasp you. As for Max and me, we'll stick to our routine walks, far away from the chilling darkness that resides within the murder house. Remember, some horrors are better left unexplored. I was just an ordinary college student, trying to make some extra cash by walking dogs in my neighborhood. One sunny afternoon, as I strolled down the tree-lined street, I saw a man sitting on his porch. He waved at me with a friendly smile, and I couldn't help but return the gesture. His house, an old Victorian mansion, loomed behind him, casting long shadows in the late afternoon sun. His voice was warm and inviting as he called out, "Hi there! Beautiful day, isn't it?" I nodded, feeling a sense of unease I couldn't quite explain. His offer was simple. He asked if I could walk his golden retriever, Max, while he took a quick phone call. It seemed harmless enough, and the dog Max appeared friendly and excited. So I agreed and followed the man through his heavy, creaking front door. The moment we stepped inside, the atmosphere changed. The air was heavy and oppressive, and I could hear the low hum of a flickering light bulb. The man led me through dimly lit hallways, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I had entered a labyrinth of shadows. Max, however, seemed unfazed, pulling me further into the house. As we descended into the basement, my heart began to race. The place was cold, damp, and filled with an unsettling silence. The man's behavior grew increasingly peculiar as he nervously mumbled about needing to grab Max's leash. I was trepid in that eerie basement, feeling the weight of unease pressing down on me like a heavy blanket. Suddenly, the door behind me slammed shut with a deafening bang. I yelped in shock and turned to find the man had disappeared, leaving me alone in the darkness. Panic set in, and I fumbled for my phone, its pale light revealing a chilling sight. A wall covered in photographs of people, their eyes scratched out, and their expressions twisted into grotesque grimaces. I shuddered and reached for the doorknob, but it wouldn't budge. I was trapped in this nightmare of a basement, and the walls seemed to close in on me. Max, my only companion, growled softly, his eyes fixed on the room's far corner. My heart pounded like a drum as I turned my gaze to the source of his unease. A grotesque life-size doll sat there, its glassy eyes fixed on me. It was dressed in a frilly, outdated dress, and its porcelain skin seemed to glow in the dim light. I couldn't look away from its sinister, inanimate stare. Then, I heard a whisper, a voice so soft it barely reached my ears. "You shouldn't have come here." I spun around to see the man standing behind me, his smile now twisted into a malevolent grin. His eyes gleamed with madness as he revealed a gleaming knife, its blade catching the faint light. I had to escape. With all the strength I could muster, I lunged at the door, shoving it open, and sprinted up the stairs. With Max close behind, the man pursued, but I managed to make it outside, slamming the door shut behind me. I ran down the street, not looking back until I reached the safety of my own home. My hands were trembling, and my breath came in ragged gasps. I had narrowly escaped a fate too horrifying to comprehend. The story: a stranger's lure, a young dog walker's frightening brush with danger, is a chilling reminder that danger can lurk in the most unexpected places. Trust your instincts and never enter a stranger's home alone. Your life may depend on it.